All right. So this is working. Everything is ready to rock and roll. And this is our third. Is this third?
Yes, it is.
Shoot, I should have looked. How professional. This is our third High Sierra Tattoo Co. tattoo questionnaire / hump day Q&A on a Thursday, episode 3 right now. You guys are watching it. You asked a bunch of questions. We asked you to ask a bunch of questions on Facebook and Instagram. So we're here. We're going to answer those questions. Some of them are similar questions you've heard before, but some of them are unique as well, and which makes this really fun. I'm Joshua Ray Farmer, if you don't already know, and that shouldn't be on. I'm Joshua Ray Farmer here at High Sierra Tattoo Co., and we have
Felicia Smith. I am an apprentice here at High Sierra Tattoo Co.
and she will be our co-host.
I sure will.
Let's say it. Say it with like fervor.
I'm going to be your co-host tonight.
She's going to be our co-host. If you guys are watching, she's our co-host.
Co-host.
Okay, so we're going to have some questions. If you guys haven't submitted any questions, we just put it up on the story, if you've seen that already, where you can ask anything you want. We will answer. Some of them we actually just graze over and don't answer because we're not going to talk about... well, there's certain things we're just not going to address. But most of them, you guys have been pretty cool and asked legitimate questions. So we're going to go through those. Before we do, I will tell you guys, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. I appreciate your input and your questions. You can also ask them here. We can see your comments.
Yeah.
Rochelle is saying it's a little spotty. So let's ask her what that means. I'll be listening. She's finishing laundry. Get to work. It's a little spotty. Is anybody else going to... Here, since she's saying that, I'm going to go ahead and do a... double check. Where you can ask anything you want.
Oh, thank you.
I think, Rochelle, that might be your end. It seems to be very clear on ours. We're watching it and hearing it on our end. It sounds really good. If not, let me know. Maybe I was clipping because I was getting too close. Anyway, enough said. We digress. We're going to get into the Q&A, and you guys can ask them here. We can see your questions on screen. So if you didn't get a chance to previously ask them, you can ask them now. And we're going black and white today, if you can tell. Our theme is very black and white.
Yes.
I mean, that's how you answer a question, right? Just very black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not how I answer questions.
Yeah, it's not how I answer them either.
No, it's not very black and white. So maybe this black and white will encourage us.
Help guide us.
Yeah, it'll help guide us. We do have our trusty stone today. If you've ever have watched before, Fel has brought her trusty stone. This one's different, though.
And this one is black tourmaline. This one protects us from negativity. Very important.
All of a sudden, I just disappear. Negativity's gone.
Turns into smoke.
Negativity is out the room. So, yeah, we have our stone.
You're not negative.
No,
Not at all.
There's our stone, guys. Thanks, Fel. So we'll pass the stone, the negative stone.
Okay. Our first question today is, what's the most painful spot on the upper abdomen to get tattooed? Now, I'm assuming that he means just this whole area right here. I myself do not have any rib tattoos, but I have heard from multiple clients and friends that the ribs are very sensitive.
Yes, that's very apparent when you tattoo enough rib cages. You'll see like people definitely hate it,
Yeah.
no doubt. But I would say it's hard because some people say the sternum hurts, some people say the sides hurt, some people say either or. I think everybody's body, unfortunately, is very different, but it's definitely, in general, the upper abdomen is pretty sensitive, especially when you start getting up into the what you'd consider like side boob. That area is going to be really sensitive.
Ooh, yeah, I bet.
A lot of people don't complain too much about here in the center. It's usually as you get up into the sternum, up here it's going to be a little bit higher here. People get quiet real quick when you're tattooing them there. But I don't know. I would say, to be honest with you, I think maybe lower abdomen is probably going to be worse. But that's Marijuana Matt. Thanks for asking the question. Marijuana Matt. What does that mean?
Or no, that was
Marijuana
Rainy Mood Matt.
Rainy Mood Matt. Marijuana Matt asked something else.
Marijuana Matt asked.
Passing the buck.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start? Have any tips? ? So technically, I think he's asking you that on your page, right? But I'll answer that if he's
Let's both answer it.
like he was asking me.
Yeah.
All right. When did I start? It's a really good question. It's a really long story. If you guys stick around and watch any more of these, especially once we migrate this to YouTube, you'll probably hear the full story if you don't already know. For me, I started in well, I'll bullet point it real quick. Skating down the road with a friend, it started pouring down rain in Portland, Oregon, in actually Northeast. And so we went to a friend's house to get some shelter, and I quickly recognized I walked into a very, let's say, unique situation. There was a lady, witch maybe even, some could consider, casting a spell in the kitchen, and I sat down on a couch, and two guys forced me to tattoo them, and my buddy was just laughing about it, essentially. And it was witch symbols and like some sort of archaic stuff. But anyway, I think I was cast a spell upon, and I've been doing it forever since. That's actually exactly how I started. Anyway, so that's where I started. Have any tips? Yes, don't go into witches' houses unless you're prepared to have them decide your future. So that's how I started, and my tips would be beware.
So I started 7 months ago. If I were to have any tips to anyone that is looking to start, practice your art, practice sketching. Don't be hesitant. There are tattoo guns on Amazon and fake skin you can start practicing on yourself.
You can. It's not the best idea, but you absolutely can. And I would never tell anybody the right or wrong thing to do, because this is a pretty rogue industry. But in general, you will definitely be making lots of mistakes that were needless mistakes with the right guidance. Like you could definitely end up, like I did that for years. So like if I could give a tip based off that, I did for years, just said, you know what, nobody's teaching me. I'm kind of walking into a very, I hate to say it, but at the time in the area I was in, it was a very criminal minded sort of industry. So I just dealt with a lot of negativity, a lot of drama. So I ended up deciding to do it on my own, which was the right choice at the time. And I wasn't going to take no for an answer, and nobody wanted to step up and legitimately, apprentice me. It just wasn't working out for me at the time. And so I did it on my own. Regardless if you're, doing it safely at home or not, you're still going to learn really, really slow compared to somebody who's going to be able to show you. I mean, you're going to accelerate so much faster, and it's not even comparable. Maybe something that would take 6 months to learn is going to take you 7 years, even if you're dedicated to it. Now, even with the internet, that's still going to be true, because being in person with somebody who's a master at something is going to really accelerate your process. So doing it on your own to start, be ruthless, do what you got to do to be, successful at whatever it is you want. That's all I could say, but you got to find the best way to do it as well. And that's usually never by yourself. It's going to take forever. But it is a way nonetheless.
Yeah, just basically make sure you have a good basis of what you want to start out on, like sketches or an idea of maybe what you want to do with it. That way you have an idea of who you might want to look after as far as an apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
Or as a mentor. My bad.
Carson's on here on our live, and he asked, as I was speaking, were you self-taught, Josh, ? Or do you do classic apprenticeship? I did kind of answer that. I tried an apprenticeship. It didn't work out. It's again, another story for another time. I'm not glad that it didn't work out, but I'm glad it didn't work out with the people I was trying to work with. But to what you said, I've always took this question personal when people say, are you self-taught? Especially because I've always wanted to be a professional, or at least I've always wanted to be a master at what I do, whether it takes forever or 6 months or 10 years or my whole lifetime. It's something that's important to me, is to be really good at what I do. That being said, I've always, behaviorally speaking, I've always kind of decided to say I never wanted to be the guy who said, I'm self-taught. Like, I did this on my own. Like, first off, you didn't do this on your own. You didn't invent the industry. You didn't invent the machines. You didn't discover the inks. This is not your industry. You're in an industry, no matter who you are. You're not the father of any of this. All of it comes from somebody. So you could be grateful for being taught by other people, even if it's just through examples or through the body of work they left behind, other artists, other masters, and in other genres, not just tattooing. But to say I'm self-taught, I personally don't like that language. I like to say, I'm self-driven. Nobody else is asking me to do any of this. I'm doing it myself. I'm putting myself to the test, but I'm learning from everybody, which is anybody who's quote unquote self-taught knows that if you want to get good, you better soak up all that you can from observing all that's available. So I don't really believe in self-taught. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah. There's always somebody you can learn from.
Yeah, and there's always people you did learn from. No matter what you do, even if you are trying something new, you're trying something new based off things you've done before, which are probably not things you invented. So I like to think of it as in a humble way because it's inspiring, because you may be that for somebody in the future. Somebody might be self-taught, but they watched you, they listened to you, they looked up to you, even if they never met you. If you've read a art book, you're not self-taught. If you've looked at a piece of artwork and analyzed it so that it can help your art, then you're not self-taught. You're self-driven, but you're not self-taught. So that's how I'd answer that.
I like that.
Do you want to plug in your phone? Does it matter? Here.
Yeah.
I got you.
Perfect.
Is there any more questions up there?
Thank you.
There we go.
Appreciate that.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Solved.
Thank you.
All right. Carson says, solid. Hope to make it up there one day. Well, of course, man. Bard, love you, bro. What's up? He says, you inspire me all the time. This guy's like a teacher.
Aw.
Bard, aren't you like a doctor? Like, don't you have your PhD? Question mark. That's my question to you. Thanks for asking questions, or making statements. All right, let's go to the next question you have. Actually, by the way, Fel has a ton more questions than me, so I don't know what I'm doing wrong and why you guys aren't asking me questions as well as much. But either way, I appreciate it. But what's up, dude? Ask more questions. If you guys are on here watching, ask questions.
Because I'm a female.
You're more interesting to talk to, I'm sure. No doubt.
Now, which one hurt the most for you? For me personally, I'm not going to lie. The elbow hurt. The elbow hurt a lot. And I was like this for 4.5 hours. So,
Fun
not
factoid.
very fun.
Matching.
Matching.
Sisters. Matching. Totally unintentional.
Now, which one hurt the most for you?
Oh, yeah. Give me that stone. Which one hurt most for me? 100% without a doubt.
Yeah.
This baby.
That makes sense.
Without a doubt. Enough said. Okay. What's up, Haster? You can ask the next one.
Okay. When I am going to put this on, cut this, should I put this on first and then try to
Match it
line
up. Yeah, I would definitely start from the top, work your way down.
Yeah.
You could even cut that in strips, and then you could tape it together and make it one long one if you wanted to. Like line it up on the paper. Like make a long stencil.
And just like,
You could. Takes time, but take your time.
what do you think would be the most
I
accurate?
I would say Phil should ask the next question. As we talk, you can ask
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I would say doing it like cutting it in
Okay,
the strip,
so the next question
putting it on
is, what are
mine.
some repetitive
because then you can
tattoos
see it too.
that you think you have perfected?
Like you need to see
Now,
it
me
in length.
myself, I am not a tattoo artist, so
That stencil will work quite a bit.
or not yet, so
Like,
I don't
You can use it multiple
have
times if you
one
to, like,
that
redo
I
it.
think I
At least 4 or
perfected
5
quite
times.
yet. But I would assume once I do get into it, I'm sure small lettering will probably get easier and easier as I keep on going. The question was, what are some repetitive tattoos that you think you have perfected by now?
Perfected. Jeez.
I
You know
said
what-
that I don't have any yet. I haven't been tattooed. for
You know
a
what I
while.
noticed is that I'm a neutralist, if that's a thing. Like, I don't answer questions definitively. I mean, and it's weird because I thought maybe it was I just noticed it when I was rewatching some of these videos. I don't definitively answer things. Have you noticed that?
Yeah. Mhm.
And I at first was like, well, that sounds kind of weak. Like, do I not believe anything? Do I not like take a firm grasp on like a stance and like maybe there's some improvement there? And then I realized, well, how could I? It's art.
Yeah.
Like, how can I have a definitive, like, is the best way to start in your kitchen? Is the best way to start in a shop? Is the best way to start in prison? Oh, fuck. I can't give you an definitive answer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you for sure if you want to get good, you better learn from someone who's already good,
Yeah.
especially if you want to learn fast. But I can't tell you how you should learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm very neutral. But I think that's a good thing. So that being said, the question is if there's any I've perfected, for sure not. But there's definitely some things like forest scenes, nature, outdoor scenes, things I've drawn my whole life and painted my whole life. that I don't really need references. Well, I don't need any references. I could make a mountain scene for you, and I don't need to look at anything. I could just literally start tattooing it. The only reason I usually do marker first is because I don't want to start something and then the person look at it and go, no, I don't want that. I want them to at least see some reference first on the skin so they can at least give me the go so that I'm not in trouble like 5 hours later and I give them a waterfall and they hated waterfalls.
Yeah.
So, but no, nothing I've necessarily perfected, but I would say that's about as close as it gets.
Now, the next question is from Nick Swamp, and he asks, how many tattoos do I have?
You know this? You know this answer?
I counted them beforehand.
She counted when I was in the restroom.
I counted them. I have 22.
Wow. Okay. 22. That's a good answer. That's
and
very
they're
definitive.
like, that's including this one, this one, this one, this one. All the small little guys on my fingers includes all of them.
I guess that would be a question somebody would ask you because they're not necessarily all connected.
Yeah.
Whereas me, I'm not. People don't really ask that anymore.
Yeah.
I do get it on occasion, but you can't answer it when you're turned into one.
Yeah. If you want, you can skip that one and then maybe answer that.
Okay.
That one.
Cool.
Since you don't really have a answer for that one.
Yeah, I definitely don't. Okay, so Gabriel Busto 001 said, hardest tattoo design, question mark. That's actually a really good question. Hardest tattoo design, anything geometrical, straight, parallel, or mathematical in that sense is going to be incredibly difficult. Each artist is going to have their strengths and weaknesses as an artist in terms of design. That's one thing to point out is like in tattooing, there's a huge difference between being creative, being artistic, and as well as knowing how to aesthetically design things. I know plenty of people aesthetically who rock and roll and know nothing really about art or creativity, but aesthetics, something clicks for them. I know people who are, have all those types of skills who are really eclectic or really creative, really artistic, and have a good aesthetic. And then I know some people who are artistic and they have zero aesthetic. So the reason I say that is the hardest tattoo design is going to be different for everybody, of course, but at the same time, everybody's going to absolutely, have to dot their I's and cross their T's when it comes to geometry. Anything geometric, anything symmetrical, lines, nothing on the body's flat. So anytime you have to do anything that's even, like if you were to take a honeycomb pattern and wrap it around the arm until it connects, it's not going to connect evenly. It's not going to connect at all. Yeah. So it's really difficult to deal with those types of things, but there's artistic ways to handle that. So I would say for sure it's going to be anything geometrically speaking.
Okay. Yeah. I would find, for me, the hardest tattoo design that I've ever done so far, I don't have a whole lot of experience, so please don't laugh. But anything involving shading, just because I don't start off with a hard black line. I start off with gray wash or bloodline. And it just, I don't know, I don't understand it yet. Mm-hmm. But that's what drawing's for. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
So one way to answer that too is one of the hardest parts about tattooing. Like when I teach tattooing, the first thing I focus on is lines. Lines, and then after that's going to be shading and blending, or shading and packing, and then after that's going to be color and blending, because color, as you start to go through it, you'll notice that the lines are the hardest part. I mean, it's just so difficult. Once you've nailed it on somebody, you tattoo another person, and then you struggle massively, and then all of a sudden you're feel like a failure because everybody's skin's different and everybody's body's different, and every needle and every sort of, even sometimes the same needle over and over, you can get discrepancies in them. So there's all these variables that come into play, and lines are the ones that really show those variables and expose them. So it's very difficult. If you can learn lines, it's like traditional artists. People look at traditional art and might think, God, that's so simple. It's like kids' drawings or like rudimentary. It is so much harder than you think, as opposed to just building something with shading and no lines. Maybe a traditional artist will disagree with me, but I would say traditional tattooing, especially with heavy lines, is one of the hardest things to do, especially for me because I'm not a traditional artist. So that would make it very difficult.
Yeah, I've only done one American traditional ever, and it was kind of hard.
That's very hard. Especially for us complicated folk.
I'm going to skip that one.
It looks like somebody, Carson again. Carson, thank you. You can't ask too many questions, man. Thank you. Ask away. He's saying up on the screen, what are both your guys' favorite mediums with creating art? I'm gonna let you go.
Honestly, I have the most fun with stippling, even though it takes the longest. Those I like the most. I also like sketching, but I find that painting is a lot of pressure for me because I have anxiety. So I just like to do stuff that's a little bit more either quick to make or something I can work little by little at a time and not really overwork myself.
Yeah. So
What
you'd
about
say
you?
like simple drawing, like you've been doing drawing exercises lately with like, anatomy and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that, and like, is that fun for you?
Yeah.
It's like pencil and paper kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
It's nice because it's satisfying. It's pretty quick.
Yeah.
You can get something started without waiting for things to dry and blend and
Yeah.
stuff. It's ironic. My favorite medium for creating art, Mr. Complicated, instruments, music, guitars, pianos, and the voice. I would say number one. I know that's probably not what you're expecting, but yeah, I would rather make music than draw things or paint things. There's something way more satisfying about a certain sound, like even just a note or something ringing out. It's very satisfying for me.
Yeah.
That's my favorite medium for creating art. Second would be tattooing. I know it sounds ironic, but it is, because what kind of art do you ever do where as soon as you put it there, it stays? It doesn't smear. It's not like paper on and pencil where you keep going over it and you get your hand oils in it and eventually just whole thing falls apart. Whatever you put there stays there. So you can kind of keep building on it. It's kind of fun for that reason.
Yeah.
Peach, you want to come in here? Come on. Yeah, let's do this. I have a Peach camera set up if you want me to click it. Yeah, it's a chest cam. My sister, Rochelle, what's up, Rochelle? Love you. She's saying none of my questions are tattoo related. It doesn't matter. Ask them. I think she's answering one, by the way. She's saying camera. It's her favorite medium for creating art.
Aw.
She's a great photographer. Yeah, and she does videography.
I can tell her by her profile picture.
Mm-hmm. That's my old sister. Okay, so let's do the next question.
What's your favorite tattoo you've done so far? Now, I haven't done a whole lot of tattoos, but I got to do this exact same one, the exact same stencil that I got on my arm on one of my friends, and it turned out even better than my old artist did it. So that was nice to see. Like, it was really nice to see me being
cool.
able to do it.
That's fun. I'm not going to answer that question just because I already answered the question. And if you guys want to hear it, you have to go see our first video. You can either scroll on Facebook, which you're probably watching right now, obviously. You can scroll down and watch our first, it was our first session of this, I believe.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It was episode uno, eins.
Hello, Amanda.
What up, peeps? So yeah, you can go and watch that and hear what my favorite tattoo I've ever done is. Or you can go to YouTube and watch our channel there. It's just my full name, Joshua Ray Farmer, on YouTube. You can see it there.
Then you could read either of these two at the bottom.
Cool. Have you done any anime tattoos? Yeah, tons, actually. Probably, I don't know how to say the name, but G. Brielle?
JJ Brielle.
JJ Brielle. Yes, I've done quite a few, and they are awesome because the art is always solid, and I like to add my own twist and get a little more graphic than they do, but I don't do it as much anymore. But it definitely was really popular, especially when Full Metal started getting like really big. People were asking for it, and I had absolutely so much fun. I don't watch or follow any of it ever, but I start to learn about it just through you guys, so that's actually kind of fun to get a little cultured at the same time.
I personally have only done one anime tattoo, and it was Todoroki from My Hero Academia. And I definitely want to practice doing them some more because I find it really easy, or them really easy. Yeah. Okay, our next question is from one.carlos, and he asked, what is the most painful tattoo? ? I think he means tattoo placement. I think we already kind of answered this, but
There's two ways, Dan. Let me ask you this a little different, if one Carlos allows. What style of tattooing to the customer is the worst. You know, like getting traditional tattoos, portraiture, realism, whatever. I mean, granted, everybody probably can imagine the longer the session, the more it's going to hurt. So regardless of that, what style of tattooing hurts most and where on the body is also pretty common to accept that hurts more.
Okay. So what should, like, how should we?
I'll answer the first part of it,
Okay.
which is like in terms of styles. I honestly think that pulling lines, like traditional lines, like said throat, pulling lines, especially in sensitive areas, is going to be the most painful. I think blending and shading is a little less because you stay in one spot longer. You kind of work the area, and it literally can go numb to where you like actually don't feel it anymore.
Yeah.
Lines don't go numb. You always feel them. So I would say
Yeah.
traditional lines.
Now for placement, bones, anywhere with the bone on it, like the ribs, elbow, knee. My knee really hurt.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. Yeah, bony. General rule of thumb, bony, bendy areas. Like anything that's bony and anything that's bendy. Anywhere you crease, like in the neck, in the arms, and any bendy you have is going to be sensitive. The wrist, yep, the inner elbow is never fun. That's always pretty painful. Is that answers it? Most painful. Yep, most painful tattoo. So get some traditional shit in your bendies on your bones, and you will not regret it. Maybe you will. So on screen, Amanda loves this. Awesome. We love you.
Oh,
I mean that. You're awesome. No, they don't hurt. I just blasted her hole in her arm, and she did great. So she gets to earn saying that.
She's like, nah.
Sis is saying, "Mom's asked a great question." So you will have to indulge us, or Shell her name. Okay, so are those the only questions you got?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have some questions as well. These are the ones that were on Fel's page. So this is her audience. Now we're going to go on mine, and they're probably going to be similar. We'll see. I haven't gone through any of these yet. This is Tattoo Q&A on a Thursday. It was supposed to be on Hump Day, but we had technical difficulties yesterday. But we're here today for you. So some of these questions are from yesterday, and some of them are for today. So if you guys didn't hear me answer your questions yesterday, it's because we didn't answer your questions yesterday. Rochelle saying bendies and bones. Yes. All right. So we're going to go with Sienna. She is asking, have you ever had to talk anyone out of a tattoo, and why?
Yes.
Yes. Plenty.
Can I
Yes.
go first?
Yes, absolutely. That's a big, huge yes.
So I was actually not working at this tattoo shop, but I was working somewhere else, and I noticed a girl and her ex-boyfriend come in, and I noticed him asking everyone that works here or there if his girlfriend could get a tattoo. I was a little bit confused because she could definitely speak for herself, and asked for a tattoo if she wanted one, and he was trying to get her name or his name on her butt, even though they already broke up. And she was like in the process of breaking up with him on the beach, like right outside of the tattoo shop, and he was trying to like save their relationship and hang on.
That's so sad. Oh man, that's sad for
I had
him.
to pull him out of the room, and I had to just ask her alone and be like, hey, so are you really wanting this tattoo? And she's like,
Haley,
no.
we have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had to talk anybody out of a tattoo?
Yeah, I did that today.
Did you?
Well, I don't know if he's convinced, but
I mean, you don't have to say names, but you can if you want to.
yeah. Do you want me to explain?
I mean, yeah, tell them.
Okay. So he wanted to get this specific tattoo with like marijuana leaves everywhere, and I told him like, I don't think that's a good idea because you want that now when you're 26, but you might not want that in like 5-10 years. So
So you talked him out,
yeah,
and he was legit. He was cool with it, or did you just storm off?
no, stormed off.
Oh.
Well, because he did tell me that like he's the client, I have to do
What he says.
what he wants, and I was like, well, I'm the artist.
Which
And
is-
I can choose to not do certain things because I think that's a bad idea.
And that's legit. Yes, we. That's one good point to make. That maybe not everybody has this position, but we do what we want, and We're not here. We're not slaves. We're not here to, at somebody's beck and call. Yes, we're a business and we do our best, but we don't bend to other people's will. We're here as creative artists to express ourselves with people who like what we do. Doesn't necessarily mean we do what they want always. There's plenty of things we've rejected before in the past. So.
And most of the time, we are really just looking out for you or your safety.
Yes, your safety and your well-being. I've had to talk people out of plenty of tattoos. I'll just leave it there. But, of course, a lot of them are names because of friends. One of you, if you're watching, you know who you are. You begged for years for your wife's name on your throat, and I said, no, dude, I'm not doing that to you, especially if we're homies. And then I finally said, you know what? I'm tired of you asking. So let's just do it. Let's just blast it across your throat. Aww. 6 months later, he wanted it covered up. So I have a new rule, by the way, in case you guys are asking for any dumb tattoos, or at least dumb ideas for tattoos, or tattoos you're not committed to. I won't cover them up. If you come to me, I'm not covering up my own work. I feel like it's disrespectful. I don't like to cover up my own shit, so don't ask me to do things you're not committed to.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't do that either.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to do that. That would feel...
Oh, well, that one, I guess you can read it. We'll answer it. You're going to ask 2 now.
When are you coming to Texas?
It's actually the second person to ask me that today, even non-related to this, I guess.
Inked Mama _
Inked Mama? So never. No, maybe one day. Actually, she's really, really cool. She's been her and her husband and a lot of her friends have been getting tattooed by me for quite some time. And so I not only appreciate them, but they have awesome work and cool ideas and they're rad people. So it'd be fun to go out there, as a matter of fact. And I have friends and family out there already. So it's a possibility, but when? I have no idea. You want to ask the second one since that one's kind of...
Yeah.
We've actually answered this one before.
What is the best way to prepare for a consultation?
That's a loaded question. That's a big deal. What's the best way to prepare for a consultation? Man, there's all kinds of stuff you can have in play. One is, first you have to pick an artist, so you have to know what you want. But also, who's asking this? Let's find out. Tempting Destiny. Well, Tempting Destiny. Wow. The best way to prepare is...
Let's answer you.
be as clear as possible and have as many ideas as, refined as possible, but also be open-minded enough that maybe the artist that you're going to is going to want to change it or even maybe completely change it and put their twist on it. So definitely research the artist, the art, and what it is you're looking to get. And to prepare for consultation, that's really what the consultation's for, is to get you prepared for the next step. So just show up with what you got, be as thorough as possible without being pushy. Sometimes people come in and they want something, they don't know what they want, and then you start to design it, and then they start to change it as you're designing it, and then we play this back and forth game for 3 hours. Try not to do that. Go in because you like the person's work and with a general idea.
Yeah.
Prepared. That's
I'd have
what
to
I would
agree
say.
with that.
Best way to prepare for a consultation. Katie Sheets. Oh, and Haley said, bring cash. That's the best. You know what? That's the best answer we've had to any of these questions so far. Yeah. Thank you.
Bring cash.
What's the best way to prepare for a consultation? Bring cash. You know what? Let's see if this is like, when you read fortune cookies and at the end you could just say in the bedroom or in bed. Have you ever done that? Like read any fortune and then at the end say in bed. Let's do that today with bring cash and see if all these questions work. Like, what's the most painful tattoo you can get? Bring cash. You have to try it with me. Ready?
I have a question.
Bring cash. Okay, got it. Haster?
Yeah, I have a question for you.
Okay, go.
If I'm doing the side right here,
Mm-hmm.
I have him just straight lay.
Bed, all the way flat. Arm always stretched up. Yep. Some of it he'll be on his actual back, turned a little to the side, and some of it he'll literally be on his hip.
Okay.
Facing away from you is sometimes easier to get your arms over him.
Okay.
Because you're right-handed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say him facing away from you, head this way maybe. I don't know. Whichever one works for you.
So it's on his right.
Yeah, because if it's on his right, you don't want to sit in front of him.
Maybe like this way. Okay.
Because you can get,
From the back.
you can get tighter in from the backside.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Bring cash. All right, is there? Did I ask it? I don't know where I'm at. Forgot.
Yes,
Sorry, guys.
we did, and we didn't answer it. So I'm going to ask you now. What is your biggest pet peeve while tattooing a customer?
Can I just say a bunch of them? Can I just rattle those off?
Drunk.
Smoking, Alcohol, drugs, timeliness, like anybody who's late or keeps taking breaks, pet peeves, rude people, stinky people, people who gossip with each other when they bring friends and I'm trying to work and they're just sitting there doing this. This is a creative process.
Yesterday.
So we just got to be really careful to protect our environment so that as each individual artist can, be most apt to do their best work. So that's what I would say. There's a lot of pet peeves. It's never fun. I mean, come clean, come nice, come comfortable, come alone if you can. If you need support, prep them ahead of time and let them know this is a creative environment. We're not here to talk about your soccer mom dilemmas. You know what I mean? God, some people are going to hear that and be like, shit, he's talking about me.
Yeah, we are, but it's okay. You needed to hear it some way or another.
This needs to be said.
This
needs to be said. Let's create a conducive environment for
some thoughts
art.
are inside thoughts.
Yes.
Let's not forget about
your
that.
What's your biggest pet peeve while tattooing a customer? Bring cash.
Bring cash.
We're going to try this on every question.
They don't
by the way,
bring cash. That's a pet peeve.
My biggest pet peeve while tattooing is when someone says, "Do you take checks?" Get out of here. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Is it my time?
Mm-hmm.
It's my time to shine. Okay, Garcia. This is, you've asked this before. When can you hit me back for an appointment? Brother. Garcia, I won't be hitting you back for an appointment, but what you can do is you can connect with us online, which is highsierratattooco.com/contact page. You can find that in the menu, and then just hit us up from there. We don't primarily respond through social media, this being social media, but we can link you to our page that we've beautifully made to get you in as soon as possible. For me and my appointments, you got to know it's anywhere from 6 months, 9 months, sometimes even a year out. And there's quite a process for me since the timing is so much further out. So we do have walk-in availabilities from some of the other girls, but for me, it's going to be a while. So when can you hit me back up for an appointment? Bring
cash.
Bring cash.
Bring cash.
Actually, that's legitimate. See, that one worked.
It did.
What's the best way to get an appointment? Come in.
And bring cash.
Bring cash. Nobody here, not one person here is like in denial that that's exactly true.
Yeah.
We all agree. Okay. More questions. If there's any on screen, I haven't been actually paying attention. Amanda, you are right. Don't stink. The only problem is sometimes I stink and I apologize, but
sometimes I do too.
I'm a grown-ass man. You know what I mean?
We sweat as long as we keep our deodorant on us.
Sheldon, I do not take IOUs. No IOUs. Especially if they're only good for 250,000. Movie reference. Somebody name it. IOU is like I owe you for this work we did. It's like a promise for the future payment.
Oh, okay.
Bring cash.
Bring cash.
Sheldon asked, "Do you take IOUs?" And I said, "Bring
cash.
Cash. Bring some of that cash, that green stuff, man." All right. So wait? I'm getting lost here. Did I ask these? How can I answer that?
Who are all of?
Oh, sorry. Okay. So let's go here. I know. Let's go here. So more questions. These are actually, I believe, from today. So thanks, guys, for asking today. Sticking with us. What is your favorite piece, tattoo or otherwise, you've done on someone? So again, that's like the fourth time I've been asked this. So it's a pretty popular question, and I appreciate you asking. But again, I will lead you to our first video. It's our first episode 1. That is going to be where I answer that pretty thoroughly. You can find that episode here on Facebook if you do the whole swipe thing. And also I upload it to YouTube. Joshua A. Farmer on YouTube is my channel. And you can see our last video uploaded answers that pretty thoroughly. So watch it. If you like watching this, you're going to like watching that. So that's pretty cool. So actually, I butchered these names up. Sorry, but actually, Elena, I don't know. But anyway, thanks for asking the question. Go there and check it out. So I will give you.
Your sister said Dumb and Dumber to us.
Son of a, she knew. See, that was a movie reference. Wow. 250,000. 250,000. That's a pretty short movie reference to be able to go so quickly.
No,
oh wait.
Wait, which one do I do?
Whatever. I asked this one. What is your favorite piece, otherwise, you've ever done on someone? Bring cash.
Bring cash.
See, it didn't really work. Not on that one.
No.
So it's not the same as saying in bed after fortune cookies. Anyway.
No. What is my favorite piece, tattoo or otherwise, I've done on someone? I didn't just answer this, but another one I did that was hard, really hard, but I liked it afterwards, was a Cheshire cat right here on someone's neck. It was very tedious. It was very hard. Took me like 6 hours, but it turned out okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
It turned out
but that's
okay.
That's a cool character. See, sometimes tattoos, it's good for people watching to know. Sometimes a good tattoo is just good subject matter. You know, what makes a good tattoo sometimes is literally just having a really good idea. And even if it's like, you know, executed in a simple way, it can be really great. So a lot of times, if you think about it, characters in art, movie, and Disney and film, they put a lot of time into developing these characters visually. You know, these are like top paid artists, people that, you know, are icons, and they create these images so they're like perfect references, whether it's a real life movie or from you know, cartoon or some sort of film. These characters are really well put together, so they make for a lot of times great tattoos. It's kind of like the secret to photography. I'll give you guys right now. You want to know? I don't know if you're into photography.
Yeah, I do.
There's a secret. There's a secret to photography. There's probably quite a few, but there's one actual secret, and that's shoot really good-looking people.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's this. You want to look good at what you do, shoot really attractive people. And you're like, oh my gosh, my career took off. It's like, yeah, because no matter how hard you try, if you're not necessarily attractive, I hate to tell you guys this, but it's just not going to sell, and people don't look at it and think impressive. But if somebody's really attractive, well put together, it's going to make you look like you know what you're doing. Yeah. It's the same thing with picking good quality design for a tattoo. Make sure that it's solid, because no matter how good the artist is, if the design sucks, good luck. It's going to fall apart.
That makes sense.
Okay. So next, that's actually a good question.
That one?
Yeah, that's the same person. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry guys, it names, and it's really small.
Actually,
Elena? Actually, Elena.
Elena.
Actually, Elena. That was fun.
Listen.
Bring cash. I'm going to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who are all of the artists in the shop?
Bring cash.
Bring cash.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay,
no, but you can find out. If you bring cash, you could find out. I'll tell you what, right now you're gonna find out a lot. You bring some money, you'll find out. So the artists. Well, we'll start with me, Joshua Ray Farmer. That's one of the artists. But I'm also booked out for a year, so unless you're waiting for something really monumental, like portraits and realism, then you're maybe out of luck. But the rest of the girls, like I'm one of them. I'm one of the girls. No, I'm not one of the girls. We also have Peach in the house. Peach, you want to say hi? Say it a little louder. You guys probably can't hear that. She's saying, "What's up?" She loves being on camera, but right now she's tattooing, so you're gonna have to just wait till next time. But Peach is in the house. Midna has already left the house. She rock and rolled already today. You saw Haley a little bit ago. Now you are looking at the magnificent Fel. What?
Thank you.
I mean, you're an artist in life, so no matter what, whether they're apprentices or artists, she is saying, who are all the artists? Well, we're all artists, so apprentice or not.
Yeah. I'm just not a tattoo artist yet. Come in.
Come ask it.
Did he put his arms up? Right?
Whatever stretches it out the most.
No, I'm seeing the latest stencil.
Oh, no. Standing, and usually kind of like this at most. Yeah, you don't want to be like this, because then when you...
Okay.
Yep.
So he's going to be like...
Dancing, doing the Oompa Loompa. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
We need a Haley cam. Just to switch it over.
We do need a Minicam too, though.
We 100%. I think we need an everybody
cam.
cam.
Awesome.
Also we missed one more. Samster. Samster Will is quite an artist.
Yes.
She's also one of our apprentices, but she's. Another way to answer it is just go to our website. Go check out our website, highsierratattooco.com, and you can look at artists in the menu, and you will see all of us, with the exception of Fel at the moment. But you can see all of us and check out our work. Links to our Instagram.
Have you ever made a mistake while tattooing? If so, how do you fix it?
Son of a...
Yes, I have. I fixed it by asking the client if they were okay with that line there, and they said they
Wanna leave
they
it?
were.
Do you
So
want to
that's
leave
how
it?
I fixed it.
Wow. Okay. I would like to plead the fifth, or just say bring cash. But it's not going to work for this one. Full disclosure. I have fucked up a lot of tattoos, and I've made lots of mistakes. One that I'm willing to tell you, with the exception of many lettering mistakes, considering I'm dyslexic and hate spelling, and I'm an artist, not a writer or script maker. Kudos to the people who are, because I look up to them. It's not me, and I'm not very good at it. Actually, I'm terrible at it, so don't come to me. Actually, Amanda's right now asking, does she do writing? Because she knows that I don't do writing, and I won't do writing. Even for people that have spent thousands of dollars with me on their sleeves, I can't. Don't ask me to do it. I don't know how to do it. So Elizabeth, I like that name. A lizard breath. She's saying, asking, have I ever made a mistake while tattooing? My favorite one I ever made, this is terrible. I was doing 2 nautical stars on each shoulder of a guy, one on each shoulder, and one was red, one was blue. And I did the design, and as I started filling in, one side is black, one side's red, and then the next one side's black, one side's red. I started filling in one side black, one side red, and then the next one side black, one side red, and then the next one side red, one side black. So when it met back around, there was 2 black corners and 2 red corners, and I'm like, can't undo that. He never even said anything.
He didn't?
Justin, you're awesome. I remember the dude's name. So I've so many mistakes, guys. This is, to add to that, this is handmade stuff, right? Like, if you think about it, anybody watching this live or after recording, even us sitting here right now, what within reach or within sight right now do you have that's handmade? Like, find something in your environment right now that's handmade. Like, what do you have that's made by hand only? Because I don't have anything. I have nothing made by hand. None of this is made by hand.
I think this ring was made by no.
So nothing.
Actually,
I mean,
no.
really, there's not a lot. Like, and you guys out there listening, look around you and find in your environment what's made by hand. What I'm illustrating is that to really appreciate the fact that you're getting something that's been made by hand, it's like carving. Do you want a carving that's etched out of a laser, which is awesome, or do you want something that's handmade that has its imperfections but has been tailored to make it look, it's turned into art, right? You see the imperfections, but it's because it's made by a human. I'm not saying you should go out there and get a shit tattoo by somebody just because it's made by hand.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, even when you're great at what you do, there's going to be imperfections. And so some of them aren't necessarily mistakes. Like Carson said, they're just happy little accidents. Anybody know what reference that's from? Don't answer that. Happy little accidents. What's that referencing? Who is that referencing? Somebody has to know. Carson, you can't answer. It's handmade, guys. So, some of the stuff, it's not factory made. We're not laser etchers. Although some tattoo artists are absolutely phenomenal, there's still that human touch to it and something I actually enjoy about it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, yes, we've made plenty of mistakes. Don't get nautical stars by Mr. Farmer. All right, so Sheldon is saying, have you ever tattooed a bear upside down on somebody? Why would anybody ever do such a thing? That is so silly.
I've tattooed 2 other tattoos upside down, but not a bear.
Well, sometimes people get like a cross on their wrist and they want to see it. So when they're standing, it's technically upside down to the viewer, but the person wants to read it. Or lettering, they want it to say, just breathe. I'm going to get bring
Just
cash.
breathe.
It's going to say bring cash. But if you want to read it, it's going to be upside down to those who are watching or to those who are observing. That's sometimes up to people's individual choices. Sometimes I've even had people want portraits and they want to be able to see it. And it's what's upside down. And I've talked them out of it just because I'd have to tattoo it upside down. And I just didn't feel comfortable doing that at the time. Like, I want to be able to see it right side up.
Yeah.
But they wanted to look at it. And I get that. I wanted to do it for them. I just didn't feel confident. So I skipped it. That's Sheldon is laughing, is bleeping A off because he has an upside down bear. So Rochelle is asking a question. Rochelle is on here now, but she's asking a question on Instagram, so I have to answer it. I'm going to let you ask the question. It's the first one on there.
How awesome is your sister?
Well, she's on here watching,
Come on.
and then she's messaging me,
awesome.
and she is asking how awesome she is. Actually, super rad. Like,
Very.
yeah, a perfect sister. So, and a wonderful woman and an incredible mother.
She
It's
likes
funny.
crystals too.
And
so.
she's into crystals. I don't know what that means, but she's into crystals. She's into, yeah,
It's crystal.
that's a rock.
It's crystal.
Okay, it's a crystal. Rochelle, you're awesome. I couldn't possibly sit here and rattle off all the reasons why, but you're a wonderful human. The world is a lucky place to have somebody like you as well as your family. How do you respond? Oh, I'll ask this one. I want to hold this one.
Hold it. That one's more satisfying and smooth, I feel like, when I
I
hold
feel like
it.
it's more me. You've been holding it.
Mm-hmm. It has a lot of my energy on it.
How do you respond or not respond to energy vampires? Wow. How do you respond or not respond to energy
this.
vampires? Yep. Just turn your head around. Yeah, well, that's a good question. You have to respond. Matter of fact, I would actually say this, and I'm probably going to be really disagreed with here, but this is a good question because it's still tattoo related. I mean, we're stuck with you guys sometimes, and you're stuck with us, right? We're stuck together for hours, sometimes years. I've known people that I didn't necessarily want to know for quite some time, and I will say this. Learning how to manage yourself and master yourself and your emotions, not wishing the world was different, but that you are better, making sure that you're the force to be reckoned with, meaning you might not be able to change how you feel, but you can change how you react to how you feel. Be a fortress. That's my opinion. I mean, a kingdom doesn't fall because one asshole walks in. So I don't look at it. If you think small of yourself and all you're thinking is this person's hard to deal with, you're thinking small. If you think I'm a fortress, I'm a energy to be reckoned with, then that small energy is going to feel like a drop in a bucket. And that's how I manage it, is I see myself as bigger than the problem I'm dealing with, if that makes sense. Probably more complicated than that, but
I have a really hard time doing that. I'm still working on it. I find I'm really sensitive to people's energy. So whenever people ask for any little bit, I'm like, okay, I'll
Right.
give it to you. But then I usually get left off feeling like, afterwards. So
Mhm.
I just kind of try my best to narrow down the conversation as much as possible. And then, like, if I am about to start tattooing and they're trying to get more out of me, I do let them know that I kind of get into a zone when I'm tattooing and that I like to stay in that kind of hyper focused zone. So I apologize in advance if I don't respond to what they're saying, and I won't. But yeah.
Another way to answer that: how do you respond to how do you respond or not respond to energy vampires? Bring cash. I will actually
Bring a
say,
tip.
legitimately, like if you're annoying to work with, cash makes up for it. I'm just being honest. So
Yeah.
tip fat. You know, if you're difficult to deal with, I know I am 100%. If you're difficult to deal with, bring more money and tip really well. I mean, I'm just being honest that, let that person know you appreciate what they're doing, especially when you're the person who takes cigarette breaks all the time and you tell the artist, I know it's kind of a pain in the ass.
Or can we just move it just like a couple more inches over to the left,
Back
even
and
though
forth.
it's already on your body?
And then you move it to the exact same spot and then they go, yes, I love it. It's like, yeah. So just, money goes a long way because it's a resource we all use. Obviously, it's what we do to trade our time for value. So it says a lot, and we appreciate it because now we can go do things with our families. So bring cash.
Rochelle, thank you for your comment. I think I am too. I was told by a lot of people so far that I am, but yes, I think it's just gonna take lots and lots of practice. The
It really
more
does.
I do it, the more I'll get used to it, and I'll be comfortable with making myself be comfortable. I don't
It's-
always have to be uncomfortable.
You're right, because here's the thing. If, let's say you deal with energy vampires, right, which I actually don't believe exist, to be honest with you. I think it's a weakness you find within yourself that allows people to suck energy out of you. You're the energy, and why can they suck it out of you? It's only your fault. You can't change the way the world is. There's always going to be people out there who are going to ask for more than they ever give. And if that's in the form of energy, it's your job to be the fortress they can't fuck with, not them to change, because if you're waiting for that, you're going to be waiting forever. You're always going to find these people. So I think it's the fortress in which you have to build. And it does take time. It took me a ton of time to learn that because I always wanted to control my environment as a way to combat the energy vampires, if you will. There's plenty of other types of vampires out there, or boogeymen, to deal with characteristically. But the best way to do it is be better. Be yourself, be better. And one way to do that is you have to expose yourself to it enough to where you get better at it. It's kind of like growing thick skin. You're not going to grow thick skin if everybody's always nice to you and tells you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
To grow thick skin, you have to expose yourself to people who are willing to tell you the fucking truth.
Yeah.
And that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to feel good. If it felt good, it wouldn't need to grow thick skin. Anyway, that's how I feel about that. It gets me excited. I like that question. Good question, sis. So she says she loves the bring cash statement. She's going to implement that. I think it's
like it.
legit. Bring cash. Like, hey, can I see you today? Yeah, bring cash.
Bring cash.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing tonight? Bring cash.
I'll tell you if you bring me cash.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, so the next question is, what motivates you when you feel in a rut?
That's a really good question.
When you're feeling in a rut, what makes you feel better?
What motivates you when you feel in a rut? Is she asking that too?
Mm-hmm.
Is this still my sister? God, I love my sister.
I can answer it first.
Yeah, do that.
What motivates me the most, I would love to wish that it was art, but it's not. I need to get up and run. I need to be physical, or I won't get out of whatever mood I'm in, or like literally physically shake myself off. Like shake whatever weird energy made me get in a rut. But
Yeah.
take
Movement.
a minute to be active
Motion.
and move around, shake it all out.
Yeah, no, that's legit. Yeah, that's actually probably one of the best ways to deal with any of that. Yes, Haster. You need me?
Yeah.
You need my help?
Yeah.
Okay,
We're almost done, actually.
so if you give me like 5 minutes,
Okay.
yeah, we'll be there. She's struggling. You guys spelt it backwards?
Yeah, backwards and upside down.
Oh, well then it's good. If it's backwards and upside down,
Yeah, he's just gonna
I
look
really
at
don't know.
yeah, it's legit.
It being like big and in the center of my side, but I don't
That
really give a shit at this point. Like,
Well, I mean,
there's
that's
gonna
gonna
be a
go
lot
all-
more going on here. I
that's
think.
going to go all the way down to your belt line.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
huge.
mean, there's gonna be so much shit going on here that it'll
Just do it. Just stamp it on there. Just get it. Just get it.
fucking ram me.
You probably have to take your pants off.
Ram in here.
He said you're gonna probably have to take your thing.
Poor guy. We're going to fuck with him. It's a pants party. It's a no pants party. All right, where were we? where were we? Oh, what motivates you when you feel in a rut? Well, artistically, I'll answer that from an artistic point of view, and then I'll answer that from a personal point of view in life. Artistically, it's really simple. I didn't know this until I learned it, or until I would have never known this was going to happen, but I kept working really hard at art. So eventually what had happened was I would find myself in ruts when I first started because I was an amateur, because I'd only done it for a couple years, because I didn't earn my stripes. I didn't really put in the time, but I was frustrated because I wanted to come up with a cool design or creative flow or some juices going, and I couldn't do it on call. So when I did feel like it, I'd call a friend and be like, man, let's do this tonight all night long. And I did that enough to where eventually I could just tap into it all the time. But it took like 7 years of me saying, Brian, Mike, Ray, like, come over tonight, like, bring food. I don't care how long. We'll work till 2 a.m. and I have to get up at 5 to go to construction work. But I was so pumped, and I did that long enough to where eventually I paid my dues, not knowing this was going to happen, but that eventually I can be half awake and I'll design a badass tattoo for you. And I'm not saying that to be cocky.
But
It's
like,
you have to exercise that motion to earn the ability to get out of that rut as a professional. So the quote is, amateurs have to wait till they feel like it. Professionals do it when they decide. So that's what I'll say artistically. That's how I'd answer that. What motivates me when I feel in a rut in life, that's actually really simple. I'm tempted to dissect the question because the word motivate might not be the right one. But I'll go with it. I would think it'd be more like what gets you to stick to the things you said you're going to do when you don't feel like doing them. call that motivation or not, or even needed. I don't negotiate with myself. So what motivates me, I don't need motivation. I don't need to feel motivated to do something. I just have to already previously have said, this is what I'm going to do. And since I don't negotiate with myself and I trust me because I've made enough promises to me that I've kept, that I know that I can keep the further ones or the future ones. So I don't need the motivation. I just need to know, here's what I decided I'm going to do. And there's all the other options are off the table and I'm committed.
That's a good answer.
If I can answer it more literal without dissecting the question, it's a little more brutal, actually, to a darker. It says, she's asking, what motivates you when you feel in a rut? What motivates me every day, and this, maybe if this isn't PG-13, so for all you children watching, there's probably no kids on here, but all you children watching might want to go sit in your mom's lap for a minute. But what motivates me when I feel in a rut is thinking about dying, actually. When you wake up, imagine this might be the last time, or this is the last day, or that's the last time you see this person, or my family's 1,000 miles away. So it's very possible that this is the last year I get to go see you for the summer, or the last year you get to see me, or the last time we get to sit down and have dinner, or the last time I get a text to my kids. I think about that at least vaguely every day, and sometimes it hits me like a ton of bricks, enough that it brings absolute richness to my life and no longer need motivation. Now I'm just absolutely determined and to do. If I feel like I'm in a rut, oh well, who cares? Like, don't negotiate with yourself, get going, and realize that your time here is finite, and one day this will be the last video, it will be the last talk, it'll be the last person, it'll be the last day, the last sunrise. Guaranteed your day will have your last. So if that's not motivating, and that doesn't inspire you to get out of bed, then you just must not be excited about your own life and maybe have other work to do.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Amanda's saying, get it, Haley. Yeah,
Honestly,
she's
I treat my
rocking.
friends like that.
Yeah?
Like, I always say, like, bye, I love you to, like, all my friends because of that reason.
Yep.
And, like, I feel like I have a pretty solid relationship with all my friends that I have. I mean,
Right.
I don't have a bunch, but, like, 2 solid girlies, you know?
I think it's it really adds richness, not fear, to your life. To think about your mortality, it adds richness. It doesn't
Makes
add fear.
Makes you, like, thankful. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Make
damn,
it-
like, I do have this. And, like, not only have this, I have 2 working eyes. I have 2 working legs. 2 working arms for me to be able to reach over and stretch out the skin and tattoo someone. Not everyone can do that.
Right.
Might as well take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That's something I actually do a lot, where I think to myself, because we're all going to get sick, we're all going to get hurt, we're all going to die eventually. So if you think about it, I mean, the majority of your life, with the exception of some of us who've maybe been through more of the ringer than others physically, for the majority of your life, you feel pretty good, right? Like right now, we're sitting here. How does your body feel?
Feels pretty good. I mean, my legs are kind of sore
But
because I
for the
worked
most
out
part-
this past weekend. But for
but
the
that's a
most
good
part,
feeling.
it's a good
That's a
feeling.
good feeling because you're
Yeah.
growing, right?
Yeah.
That's a sign of growth.
Yeah.
So like, you feel good. I mean, you like you said, you can go through the gamut of all the gifts you've been given. And same with all you guys watching. You can think to yourself, like, run from your toes up into your nose and ask yourself what hurts. And if the answer is nothing, you have a lot to be fucking thankful for. Because also it won't be forever that's true, and it won't be always that's true. So right now that's true, and I think about that all the time. Like, I feel good. I can go run a marathon if I wanted to. I can travel if I wanted to. I can draw. I can do all the things like you said.
Yeah.
And if that just makes you feel grateful, so that helps me when I feel in a rut. Actually, it's funny. I guess now that we think about it, this is probably one of the most complex questions in here because it applies to so many different. Like, what do you mean when you're depressed? Do you mean when you're sad? Do you mean when you're in a creative rut? Do you mean when you just can't find the motivation to do the things you said you were going to do? Like, there's all kinds of scenarios this comes into play.
Yeah, when I'm depressed or like just feeling like really, really down, I sometimes can't even leave the house, so I'll just try to go outside and get some sunshine. That's usually what brightens up my day. Sunshine.
Good. That's a good
Gotta
deal.
let Mr. Sunshine in. But I usually always do that right when I wake up. Like, I always open my curtains to let Mr. Sunshine in.
That's good. Yeah, that's super healthy. I think a lot of people, when they find themselves not feeling, let's say, quote unquote, motivated or not feeling inspired, I actually think it's for a lack of, how do you say this? It's I think not really, like, people call themselves slackers, right? Like they're lagging or they're slacking or they're procrastinating. I don't actually think you are. I think you're just
Waiting, maybe.
waiting. but really you're in a situation where you're just simply uninspired. Because if you're inspired, you're moving,
Yeah.
you're getting going. Even if it's being inspired by something dangerous, you're getting up and you're going to do something.
Yeah.
It's I think it's just for a lack of being inspired in your own life. So maybe that's where the weakness is. A lot of people find themselves to analyze their life and ask, like, why would anybody be inspired to live your life? Like, what do you do? Like, some of the cool ass places I get to go, or that I do go to because I choose to go to, I make it a point to. The people that I know, the family that I have, the relationships I've maintained, the skills that I have, you know how fun that is? Like how fun it is to do the shit I get to do? I can ask, if somebody else were to live my life for a day, would they have fun? Would they be inspired? Would they be excited to do what I get to do? Because if the answer is no, then why would you expect to feel good about living your life? So that's it. Live an inspiring life that makes you feel fucking excited. And then motivation will I don't even think it'll be, motivation is a tactic for a short-term gain. It's not something you should be, I don't think, relying on. I think it's just to get you from point A to point B if you're struggling. But live an inspiring life and you will find yourself doing much better with motivation, I think.
And you probably won't be bored.
You won't be bored. You're actually going to wish you were. You're going to love when the chance comes that you actually are. Yeah, I think that's actually all of the questions.
Yeah, that one was our last one.
Yep. So that was that technically concludes our episode 3 of Hump Day Q&A on a Thursday. It's not going to always be on a Thursday. I'm hoping it's going to be on Wednesday, but today it was on Thursday. So whatever. How do you feel like it went?
I had an amazing time. I think we got a decent amount of questions done. But if you guys do have any other ones that you guys didn't get to hear today but did ask, we did post them in our 2 other ones. So just scroll through our Facebook profile and click the other ones.
Yes. Yeah, check them out. There's 2 other episodes. This is our 3rd one. Pretty soon we'll be saying 100. So this is kind of cool. We appreciate you guys. The questions are fun because it makes us think, but it also gets us connected with you guys. Like Amanda, we've had you in here for hours. Rochelle, even though you're my sister, I've tattooed you for hours. The people on here watching and interacting, you guys mean a lot to us. And I mean that. I mean, you're part of what we're doing. So we appreciate it deeply. The questions, of course, are always fun to, kind of, because we're kind of picking your brain, right? We're finding out what's important to you and what's on your mind. So feel free to ask. We're going to probably start pushing more and more specific questions. Eventually we're staying, very general right now, but eventually we're going to get maybe more specific. Like we might be asking a little more focus-driven questions. And I'll remind you guys, eventually we're going to be on YouTube. We're going to stop this Facebook feed, and we're going to eventually start uploading this live to YouTube. So if you want to see that and you don't want to miss out, you're going to have to go to my YouTube channel, which is Joshua Ray Farmer. You're going to have to subscribe to it, or at least start paying attention to it there. It will be very soon that we're going to start this feed there for different reasons, but we look forward to it, and it'll be a lot of fun. We tried our black and gray setup today.
And I loved it.
I actually enjoyed it so much that this might be a thing. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, again, I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you watching. Stay tuned next week so you can ask questions. You could be on here asking questions, or you can watch out for our live posts and submit questions there. Or bring cash, come into the shop and ask a question here.
But bring cash.
You can do that. You can set it up on here to where people can pay you to ask a question.
Really?
I've seen, I don't know anything about this. I'm not too savvy on it yet, but yeah, I see people's lives, and all of a sudden it pops up a question. It says $20 next to it. And it's
really?
I need to figure out how to make y'all pay,
Yeah.
pay for asking questions. But anyway, yeah, so let us know what you guys think. Comment on this since you're watching now, or you're watching later. We're going to be uploading this as well to YouTube, this whole session. So let us know if you guys have any questions, or just stay tuned next time and ask them. And
bring cash.
And bring cash. That's it. So thank you guys very much. And we hope you have a good hump day on a Thursday.
Bye, guys.
See you.